What's up,
Failed to
guys?
go live. Failed to go
What's
live.
up? Just a minute. Simon, BF, BBF.
Told me it failed to go live.
I just have to. Yes. Okay, what is up, guys? Give me just a second. I have to do everything because Simon's in Facebook jail. I spelled procrastination right. And then it's meetsimonpalmer.com. Gosh, is it webinar or webinars?
Webinar, singular.
All right.
We should go live as well.
Yeah, you could do that. See, we're not organized, guys. Maybe that should be the next. Maybe that should be the next one.
Yeah, that's cool. This is all learning curve. It's thinking on your feet.
Yeah, guys. See, we're not.
We're not
This is why I
thinking
lead
yet.
by example. This is why I lead by example, because people want to see this stuff. They don't want to see, like, they want to know that you're real. You know.
Raw. Let me find my glasses.
What's up, guys? Thanks. Okay, cool, guys. What is up? What is up? I just had to go promote this a little bit because I forgot. It's a learning curve. So, guys, once again, welcome to Simon Says, hashtag Simon Says, because he says the best things ever. If you guys are new, if you're watching the replay, just kind of give you a little backstory. Simon and I met a few weeks, well, actually, it's been like 2 months now, huh? I keep saying a few weeks. You ever do that? You say a few weeks for a long time, and you're like, wait, it's been 10 years now, which it will be more than 10 years that we'll be friends. But Simon and I met in Austin in August, and we just hit it off. And ever since then, Simon has just been my mindset coach. I call him all the time, and I can't say enough things about this man. I'm just so proud of him. This is our third episode now, Simon. Yeah. So I'm just so 3. That's how you guys say 3, right? But no, I'm just so excited and so happy to share Simon with you guys, because I guess I can share you. But today, guys, get ready, because we're going to be talking about procrastination. So without further ado, Simon, take it away.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Brittany. That's gorgeous. Welcome to
I got to work on my elevator pitch for you.
Yeah, I know, Biggie. We've all got to work on everything.
Yes.
Better and better every day.
Better and better. Better and better.
So welcome to the free mindset webinar series that we're doing every Thursday. Today we are diving into procrastination, but each week we'll just dive a little bit deeper into various mindset things. So mindset's important. If a lot of people watching this will be into home business, but it's important for weight loss. It's important for sports and fitness goals. Even if you've got a job, it's important for that, for your career. So my mission that I've come across, it's been very difficult for me over the years to work on goals, but my mission, I think, goes along the lines of that I want everyone to understand that they can earn their own income aside from their job, or whatever they're doing, whoever they are. You can actually generate an income, and not everybody knows that. They don't know how to do it, but I know that they can, and I want to share that with people. And along those lines, I want education to change, because kids need to be more aware of their consciousness, the fact that they can actually change the way their brain works, and self-development, which is what you learn none of at school. I don't know any. Well, there are probably a few schools around the world, but there's certainly not many in the UK or in the States. So that's my mission, is to make everyone aware that they can generate their own income, be masters of their own destiny, and we can change education. Tell your friends. We're doing this every Thursday. So come along and learn some more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen and share some slides with you. Share. Love that infinity screen. Means
Yes,
it's
and
working.
hey, and just so everybody knows, it's going to be every Thursday at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. And what time is it where you're at? Is it 8:30 then?
8:30 in the evening.
Okay. All right, I can see you. I can see your slides. They look gorgeous.
Excellent. That's because it's got me in it. Okay, so this is why we're here. But a little bit about me, and I've been an osteopath for the last 28 years. The last 18, I've been working from home, which has been great. So I've been able to see these two kids grow up. This is from a couple of years ago, actually, this picture, but they're 18 and 22 now. This is me, Julie, who I'm lucky enough to be married to, she constantly reminds me that I don't know how lucky I am, and she's right. This is me and me Brittany in Austin, but I fairly standard, not really standard, I suppose, going to an English public school, and then essentially all I ever wanted to do was play sport, but my dad decided I need to get a bread ticket. So having been to school and failed my exams on more than one occasion, I was lucky enough to find myself at an interview for osteopathy college at the European School of Osteopathy, and I somehow managed to get in on an interview. So that enabled me to play the sport that I wanted to do. I got my bread ticket, but ever since then, I mean, even really ever since then, all I've ever wanted to do is play hockey and squash. So that's what I've done, essentially. I mean, it's been great to treat patients, and fortunately, most of them get better, so that's great. But so why listen to me about this sort of stuff? Because of my history in sport, I've always been interested in sports psychology and the mindset that goes involved with that. I played sport to quite a good level. I played hockey with and against all kinds of internationals, including world champions and Olympic gold medalists. I played squash on a pretty good standard as well. So I sort of understand the mindset of how top performers work. And similarly with my patients, that they have included sports professionals, quite a few golfers. I did a course with the PGA a few years ago. Some of you may know Barry Sheen. He was a very famous, very charismatic motorbike racer in the probably 70s and 80s. Who died, unfortunately, but Julia was very happy when he came round to see us. I've had lots of famous actresses to treat, including Stephanie Beacham, who you may know from Dynasty, as they say in the States, or Dynasty and the Colbys, and Anna Chancellor, who's in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I had an ex-Miss World as a patient, and one of the drummers from Status Quo has been a patient. So I understand the sort of mindset of top performers and how it works. And so that's why it might be a good idea to sort of just pay a little bit of heedance to what I say. And well, this is what we're talking about today, and procrastination. I'm sure you all know what it is. Essentially, it's why do today what you can do tomorrow. And I have had a vast experience of this. I'm an absolute genius at procrastinating. Ever since I was at school, all my reports said I could do better, mainly because I'd have been on the squash court or on the hockey pitch. But I would always leave work to the last minute. Even when I was at college, actually doing my dissertation, I actually graduated the top 3 from my college at ESO, European School of Osteopathy. But even then, when I was writing my dissertation, I was doing it in our house, and I'd be sat at the dining table writing out all these pages, and someone would come in and say, "Do you want to go down the pub?" And I said, "No, I've got work to do." So they would just grab my pencil and break it. So I couldn't write anymore. And so off down the pub I went, and that was great. And this is how the brains of procrastinators work. I've watched a fabulous TED talk by Tim Urban earlier today and yesterday. And he talks about this instant gratification monkey that lives in your brain. He wants to do anything but the work in front of them. And it just wants to have fun. He wants it all to be easy and have fun and have no responsibility. And so the instant gratification monkey takes over, and off you go out to play. But he calls it the dark playground, because even though you're playing, you still feel that it's unearned. You feel guilty about it. You have this anxiety about it and self-hatred feelings. So it's not always the best playground to be playing in. But then Bill Gates says it's cool. And this was before he found out it wasn't very cool, because he said that was the cool thing at university. It was just to look like you're not doing anything. And we probably all, I mean, I know I've done it, and perhaps we've all done it, but look like you're not doing anything, but then just do all the work at the end just so that you get it done. But in the meantime, it looks like you've been really cool. But obviously he realized that that wasn't the way to do it, and stopped doing that and became who he is, obviously. But why does this all happen? Why do we do all this? And essentially, it's down to the limiting beliefs that are ingrained in us when we're kids. And usually under the age of 10, these limiting beliefs come into our thought process, and then our belief structure is based on that. And so everything that grows on top of that is flawed by virtue of the unfortunate base that it's built on. I mean, I can be working really quite happily at my laptop, different with a patient. I don't just walk off when I'm doing a patient, but when I'm working at my laptop and really doing well, getting on with what I have to do, and then suddenly I'll just get up and walk away. And it's after I've walked away, I thought, well, why did you walk away? And it's because I was actually getting somewhere, and these limiting beliefs I have just stop me from taking the next step. I mean, I remember doing talks in the past and I'd feel really ill, and you get stomachache, and we all get it, and you think you've got to do something, and then your body starts telling you you can't do it, you're not doing it, and it oh, we'll do it tomorrow because you're not very well today, and you'll be all right tomorrow, and all these little things. And it was this never goes away, this stuff. It never ever goes away. It's always with you. It's just you have to beat it. It was Mark Harbert when in Austin, when I met Brittany 2 months ago, 9 weeks I think it is. He had his first $100,000 day, and he still wanted to give up. He still had these thoughts that it wasn't working and he should stop doing it. And that's his first $100,000 day. Now, this procrastination works particularly well when you've got deadlines. Works well, is that the right words? Probably not. But when you've got a deadline, then you can not work right up until the deadline, and then you do all the work at the last minute. But where it becomes more difficult when you've got a home business is you don't have these deadlines. So there's no reason for you to do something by a certain time unless you make one. So having deadlines is great. Giving yourself deadlines is probably a good thing. But that's why it works, well, why so many people working from home on their own when they're responsible for themselves procrastinate, because they don't have this deadline. So what do you do? What do you do when you've identified that you're not doing the work that you want to be doing? Well, when you realize that, you need to focus on your why. And hopefully we all know what a why is. It's why we do it, why we get up in the morning, why we do what we do, why we want to start our own home business. And the thing about a why is, if your why isn't big enough, if your why doesn't make you cry, get another why. because that's the only thing that's going to be able to get you up on bad days or get you through these days when you would rather not do it, when your instant gratification monkey says, come on, let's go down the beach because the sun's out. So there's various ways to do this and to focus on this, and one of them is to use prompt notes. So you get a post-it note and stick it up all over the shop, and on this note you have to have an audacious goal, something that excites you, and you stick it in your wallet or on the fridge or keep it on your desk. So you need to be true to yourself. You need to be authentically you and not compare yourself to others. And when you truly do this, when you truly understand what this means, then your progress is so much faster, as Brittany will attest to. And it's not always easy to keep this positive mindset going, and so you need to work on this positive stamina to keep it going. But really, nothing is going to change until you change what you need to change. And by working on it and thinking it through, you can make progress and move ahead. The other day, I said it takes 21 days of consistently doing the same thing to build up a habit. But I saw another bit of research which says 66 days to create a new habit. And I suspect that it's probably going to be nearer to 66 days than it is to 21 days. But 21 days is a good place to start. And of course, the fortune is right at the end. You don't actually find the fortune until you get to the end. So there's a number of things that you can do to help yourself. And I'm not going to read these out, so you can have a quick look at these. But when you're living your life on purpose, when you've identified your why, and you need to be doing what excites you, because if it's not exciting you, you ain't going to get up in the early, and you're not going to get up an hour early or go to bed an hour late or 2 hours early or 2 hours late to do it, because you're not going to do it to the best of your abilities, and you're going to have too many expectations at the end of it, and that's not good. So to live your life on purpose, to have a why that's going to make you cry, you have to do what excites you, and it really needs to excite you, and you need to go for it with the best of your abilities and do it without any expectations. So hopefully, if you wanted to write those down, you've written those down. We'll move on to the next one, because this is really important about how to combat this stuff, and you need to surround yourself with support. There's the old adage that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. And I'm sure plenty of you have heard this, and you sort of try and identify who these people are. But here's a great way to try and suss out who the people are. So for the next 24 to 48 hours, just give whoever you meet marks out of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, or 0 to 10 if you like, for their positive energy. And the results you find will obviously indicate who you need to be spending your time with. You need to be with the radiators and not with the
Hey Simon.
Hi.
What level would you give me?
Positive energy?
Yeah.
I think 11.
Oh, I would give you a 12 just to beat you.
Oh, we're so lucky. We're so lucky to have each other.
I know.
Let's surround ourselves with each other.
Yeah.
And as you can see from that, you're the most happy when you make others happy. And happiness is the new productivity. So the happier you are, the more you'll do. But here's a good one. Write this one down. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to start, but it's always too late to wait. So just get it going. Turn your failures into lessons. And remember that every little thing matters. Celebrate your wins. Every little win you need to celebrate. And just do baby steps. You don't need to make great leaps and bounds. Just baby steps. And look after your own your own self, look after your own vibration, and own that power that you have. And that's how you get over this stuff. And it takes work. You need to work at it. Okay, there's just a couple more, Britt, and then I'm going to come back and we can have a little chat about what's going on. So
Sounds
when
good.
you wake up in the morning, greet your day. Who was it the other day? Was it Ray Higdon who was going, he wakes up in the morning and he goes, this is going to be an awesome day. And he thinks, he plans before he gets out of bed, before he moves, he's just opened his eyes and he scans through what he's going to do, and he knows it's going to be an awesome day because he tells himself it's going to be an awesome day. So when you wake up in the morning, say that sort of stuff, choose your own words, and then think about what you can do today to help, well, people, to help your business, to help your team, or to help your health and wellness. Think about what you can do. This is before you even get up. And a good way to do all this stuff is to have a daily mode of operation. And one of the best daily modes of operations I've found is, you can find it at successwithbrittany.com/fire your boss. I have my own ebook called DMO, with a daily mode of operation, but because I pretty much copied it off Brittany, you're probably better off going with the original version. So successwithbrittany.com/fire your boss. So,
oh my God, I love you.
so here we go. These are the things that you need to be thinking about when you're owning your power. You think like a CEO. It's your business, so you need to be thinking like a CEO. Your CEO, even if you've got an upline and stuff like that, you're the CEO of your business. And this act like an athlete is like daily training. I mean, kids who want to be an Olympic swimmer, and I'm always impressed by the behavior of these kids when they want to be swimmers, because they're the ones who go and train in the swimming pool for 2 hours before school starts in the morning. And as an athlete, you have to go training every day. You're allowed the odd rest day, but you have something to do every day, and it's all mapped out. And be outrageously enthusiastic. Really enjoy what you do, because if you're doing what you love, you will be, and that's why you need to be doing what you love. And you need to develop some sort of consistency and repetition of these good habits. And it's not all about work, because there's some relaxation and fun time built in, and you build that into your schedule. And when you think about all this stuff, think about how much would you actually be willing to pay someone if they could tell you exactly what was holding you back and to reframe your problems, because then you'll realize the value of what you do and to work on your mindset. And this is something that I found from Molly Harvey, who's a great trainer, Irish lady, and she was saying that successful people learn to love their limitations. So I'm gonna come back. There's a couple more slides that I want to show you later, but we can do that later. So let's stop sharing, come back, and
There you are.
hi. Glad you could hear it.
Can you explain that just a little bit more, that last part where you said successful people learn to love their limitations? Like, what do you mean by that? What does that exactly mean to you?
To me, that means they enjoy the challenges. Stepping when we feel the fear, that's almost like the excitement. And so what you tend to sort of develop this need or want for it, like the need for speed, or you want to get the endorphins working in your brain, so you get excited about what you're doing. And when you find these limitations, that they're challenging you, they know that they're stretching you and they're taking you to the next level. So that's why successful people enjoy the limitations, because they know that is the next step. That's the little quantum leap that they need to make to get to the next step.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing video, and it's a funny story, but it's really not funny. But I remember, that, in public speaking, you were talking about public speaking the other day, about that being like the #1 fear of people. And I can talk to anybody and everybody. I don't have a problem coming on webinars. I don't have a problem doing any of that stuff. But like, for some reason, public speaking just like scares the shit out of me. Right. And I remember when I was doing videos, the same thing. I'm like, this isn't even live. And I'm like scared. I'm terrified of this phone. And so for me, I literally was like, okay, I can't do this right now. I need to go have a glass of wine or something to like cool me down, right? And then another and another, and then I got smashed. But now my point of my story is that after I did it though, I did it, I posted it, and I was like, just like, I'm a warrior, right? You just get those endorphins going. So now I've been making it a habit, a new habit of mine, and I'm not consistent with it every day, but it's something that I've been putting in my mindset training every day, is to think about what's the one thing that would scare me today, and what's the one thing that I could do that would, like, if it pops in my head that I can work on this week that would scare me. And that's like how I get my progress now.
Yeah. It was Marissa Peer is someone, I did a live stream the other day about this. Marissa Peer was talking about the biggest fear. Marissa Peer is a hypnotherapist. She was Lady D, as they say in French, in Amélie, Lady D. So Lady Diana, who became the Princess of Wales, always used to talk about a therapist, a hypnotherapist, and that was Marissa Peer. And she's done a lot of work with sportsmen and politicians, actors, actresses, directors. And she was saying that the #1 fear, and I found this really difficult to believe, the #1 fear in the Western world is the fear of speaking in public. And I thought, well, most people wouldn't even consider it, or wouldn't want to, or don't. And so it was interesting that she would consider that the #1 fear. And so you're certainly not alone with that fear of wanting to speak in public.
I'm curious, and maybe you can help me. Like, I want to know where that stems from, because you saw me in Austin. I mean, I talk to anybody and everybody, our waiters, our, pedicab guy. And I constantly was like, oh, hey, are we connected on Facebook? And I would hand over my phone, and I have no problem. I mean, I had no problem going up to people, and, so it's like, I wonder where that stems from. Like, I wonder what, like, the whole psychology, because I never studied psychology, but I wonder where that stems from. Like, where do I get that from? Because I built my whole book of business on just talking to people in coffee shops. I'd be like, oh my God, cute shoes. Da 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 da. I like your hair, or maybe nothing to even do with hair, but you know what I mean? I would just start talking to people, and then they're like, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, I cut hair. Oh my gosh, I'm looking for a new hairdresser. Boom, new client. But yeah, I mean, even I think last week we touched on that. Like, even when I went up on Ray Higdon's stage, and I wasn't even a speaker. They just said, hey, come say some breakthroughs. I was like, even the thought of it right now is like, my mouth is like trembling. But when I was walking up there, the whole entire time, Simon, I wanted to turn back around, just turn back around. I was like, nope, I have to do this. I have to do this, because that's where you grow, And I think that if you're not growing, you're dying. I mean, seriously, what kind of life, you got to step out of your comfort zone. I know that's a little off topic for the procrastination subjects, but. Well, anyways.
If you're not green and growing, then what are you doing? You're doing the opposite. I think it's something to do with this fear of putting your head above the parapet, because everybody wants to stay together. Because from being in a tribe, we would all want to be together. And the survival things that we've had in here for 40,000 years, and it's not just in here, it's in every single cell of our being, because it's changed our DNA, it's changed our genes. And so we're working on these practices that are 40,000 years out of date, because they're so innate in us that we want to be part of the tribe. We don't want to appear to be different. And talking one-on-one is actually sort of building your tribe. It's growing your tribe. So that's a good thing, because you're surrounded with like-minded people. So when you want to go and push away from that and become different, then it becomes that much more difficult to do it. And I think that's where that primal, and it is a primal fear, comes from. And it's scary. It's scary when you think that what we do, our behavior, is governed by survival issues that we've had for 40,000 years. And why should we be worried about saber-toothed tigers down by the river now? But this is the sort of behavior that we all have to manage, or we have to get over, because 10, 15, 20 years ago, nobody realized any of this stuff. Well, perhaps they knew about it, but they couldn't prove it. And then the last 10 years, the science that's been done on brains by monitoring brain waves, and the fact that you can take visual pictures, you can actually see which bits of the brain are firing when X, Y, and Z have, or what is it, X, Y, Z, LMNOP? There's a direct quote from you. So when you can actually see what's going on in which parts of the brain, when you're thinking about whatever it may be, and the fact that you can change your brain waves to change your belief process, which ultimately does change your DNA. It literally changes your genes over a period of time. And this is why they're talking about body hacking, and why people can live so much longer, or will be able to live so much longer, because we can change genes by dropping chemicals into a petri dish, essentially. But that's what they can do. And so this stuff wasn't necessarily known all that time ago, and we're all learning more and more about it now.
Yeah, I mean, I know that like we kind of like we're going away from the procrastination, but I mean, even me, I'm like a newbie with like the meditation, and when we were in Austin, and Dr. Joe was talking about, and he physically showed us, remember how the brain was actually literally making new connections for like new habits. That like blew my mind. Like, you know, cause I love it when people can back things up with science, because you can't tell me, right? You can't tell me what I didn't see. You know what I mean? Like we saw a brain literally make a new connection. Like that was just unreal.
And disconnect. And he was talking about brain cells that fire together, wire together.
Yeah.
So if you can fire them, and this is how you change it. This is because you can change your thought process. You can change your neural connections. When I was at college, we were taught that nerve cells cannot regenerate. And maybe that's true. So that if anyone had a spinal injury or a nerve injury, that's it. Nothing could change that. But what they've discovered is that you can make these different neural connections. And this is exactly what Dr. Joe was showing us with a little video about how neural connections and nerves that fire together then wire together. So they permanently become or permanently start to send messages through each other. And that's how you can change your behavior.
Yeah.
Super cool stuff.
So I wanted to, because I was like wrote down some notes, but I wanted to say something, because this goes along with your thinking patterns and procrastination. And I don't know if you saw Ray Higdon's live yesterday, but he's my guy, so I'm always watching him. But yesterday, for people that weren't on, I think I saw Kelly was on, because she's on here now. But he was talking about how, and if you guys haven't noticed, since Live the Dream, oh my God, like when I saw him in Florida just a few weeks ago, I was like, dang, dude. I was like, I blinked and you're like all skinny. And if you've been noticing, he's been getting chiseled, right? Like he really, something happened in his brain where he's like, enough is enough, right? And so I was talking to him about that. And anyways, yesterday on his live, he was talking about how, you know, the night before when he was talking or whatever, he was saying how, you know, he came home and there were donuts, right? Because he's been not eating sugar and been eating well. And he, there was donuts, right? The little Edmonds, like little, you know, the little donut holes, so delicious. And so he ate those. And then his wife, baby Sabrina, just turned 1. So she's decided to wean her off, you know, the boob, right? So it was just a horrible night. And the whole point is that, you know, he like woke up the next morning feeling like shit because he ate these donuts. He's been so good. And he was beating himself up about the donuts, and he didn't sleep because baby Sabrina was crying all night long. And he literally was talking himself into not going to the gym. He was literally beating himself up about eating these donuts and not going to the gym. And something snapped in him and he said, you know what do my feelings have to do with my goals? You know what I mean? He's like, you have to learn to do it even when you don't feel good. You know, even Grant Cardone says that. You know, you can't just work on the days that you feel like it. So you have to. So I've been, the last couple days, there's been things that I don't want to do right now, but I'm like, nope, I'm going to go do them. Right.
Yeah.
Because I can't, because you know, when you procrastinate, and I've done this, and it's been in different areas of my business, you know, sometimes, you know, like I got a bunch of my Twitter accounts shut down. I was just soaring, recruiting people like crazy, getting like 50 leads a day. And then my Twitter got crashed. And then I had a lull again. And what happened was that I lost my momentum. And when you're not making those new habits and you're procrastinating, and I've done this several times, it's just part of being business. Like you were just saying, you know, learn from your failures. Well, I learned, you know, I've done this 3 or 4 times. I'm like on the way up and up and up and up, and I get my momentum and I lose it. So when you guys are procrastinating, you literally do not know how many days you're actually putting your momentum off. You know what I mean? Like, and just like you said, you can't, that instant gratification, it takes 90 days, guys. It takes 90 days to really start seeing the momentum growing. So you have to be patient, and you have to just put in the work daily and not procrastinate, and just get that daily method of operation and get in your mind, I'm going to do it until I literally, you know, and when you were talking about the Post-its, I used to do that, and I'm actually going to pick up Post-its. I put that down. Put your goals. Put your goals, because I can't remember who says it, but even if you shoot for the star, or even if you shoot for the moon, you're going to fall amongst the stars, right? And I think Eric Worre talks about this. You know, set a goal so ridiculously high, but don't make it too crazy high. Like, I'm going to make $60 million in the next month. You know, something that you can actually wrap your head around, that's something that's possible.
Yeah.
And get to a result. And then get to another result, and like let that build as your momentum. But like seriously, if you're putting things off and procrastinating, you literally don't know how many days you're actually putting your goal off. You have no idea, like no idea.
Jim Rohn talks about how expensive days are, and that's exactly what you're saying. So it's not just the linear thing about if you don't do it today, you can do it tomorrow. It's not just about that. It's about, if you've got a load of things that you've done, you've built up your momentum, and then you stop, then that's when the days become even more valuable, because having done all that work, and Mark always talks about syphilis, doesn't he? Oh no, sorry, Sisyphus, pushing the big ball up the hill. So Mark, that's just in honor of you, buddy, because you were here.
I remember that. I remember when you said that.
Yeah.
He was like syphilis. I was sitting here like, what did Mark just say? Mark, you remember that? Oh my God, that was one of the funniest moments.
I never asked him, but I'm sure he did it on purpose. Surely. Anyway, so yeah, it's about Sisyphus and pushing this big boulder up the hill. And you have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing, because if you don't get to the top over the tipping point, then it comes all the way back to the beginning, and that's where you have to start again. And it's interesting about this start is because you got to know why you're starting. And this is another Jim Rohn thing, because he talks, there's the sort of 3 steps. You have to decide what you want to do. You have to decide essentially. Shh, I saw the comment. You see, I'm learning about these webinars. If you get involved with the comments, then you lose your train of thought, don't you?
Yes.
So
yeah.
Deciding is your why. So once you've got your why that makes you cry, then you've got a good why. So that's your deciding, and then that's the first step. And then there's planning. And the planning, this is in here. The planning is where your imagination starts to take shape, and you can actually see where you want to go. And then ABC is beginning and getting started and taking action. And everyone talks about taking massive action, and that's often confusing with baby steps. But the massive action is actually deciding and just going and doing it, and take the baby steps in the right direction, but do what you know you've got to do. And when you start doing that, it becomes a source of inspiration, because you then know that you're on the right track. And that's what you got to do to start with, to get on the track, and then just keep pushing. And as I say, these days are expensive if you then suddenly stop. It's like it's like when you're getting fitter or coming back from an injury and stuff like that. When you actually go and take your first walk around the block, or for me, I've had 3 knee operations, and the last one ended up being bionic, so that's pretty cool. But to start with, you have to go, and when you can take your first step, for me, it was in the swimming pool, where you actually go and learn how to walk and how to run again. But it's such an inspiration that you can actually get there and do it, that these baby steps, when you look back on it, they're baby steps, but at the time, they're big leaps. And when you start to do that, when you make your first telephone call, or when you get your first customer, or when you get your first team member, your first distributor, those things, they're inspirational, and that's what keeps you going. That takes you to the next step. And the way to keep that momentum going is to keep that why focused in there, because it's not big enough. If you stop doing what you want to do, it's because it's not big enough. It's got to be audacious.
Absolutely. And like I teach people, you know, you just have to get a result. Work so hard and study so hard until you get that result. Maybe it's your first lead. You know what I mean? Maybe your goal right now, like when you're starting, you don't think that you can ever make, you know, $100,000 a month. So, I mean, start with something that's out of your reach, but it's something that your mind still can wrap your head around, right? So maybe start with a $10,000 a month goal, right? Well, that's not going to happen overnight. It's just not going to happen. It's just like if you were going to start working out, you know, you've never worked out before, you're not going to go run 50 miles, right? You're going to walk around the block, maybe a couple times, the next day 4 times, you know, and eventually you're going to work up into miles, into running, into, you know, so work your face off until you get a result, and then celebrate that result. You know what I mean? I think people like, I was watching this video the other day that was like, you know, living to die. Like we're always looking to the future, and then we get to the future and we're still looking in the future, and we're still looking in the future, you know? So just celebrate that if you get your first lead, celebrate that, embrace it, because it's a stepping stone, right? To get to your 10K a month, right? And so I always tell people, just get a result, and that is going to shoot you into waking up every day, because it's really hard in the beginning, man. There were times where I'm like, ugh, after a week, and you're gonna learn, it's a learning curve. There were times where I'd be blogging for 1 week, 2 week, 3, 4, you know, and then it turned into like 5 weeks, and I still wasn't getting any leads, and I'm like, oh, you know, and that can be really unsettling. But just keep working until you get a result, and then figure out, you know, tweak that until you get more results from that result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you don't have patience in yourself, and you're never going to get there. And when you start getting results and something happens, because, you know, like you were talking about Mark Harbert, you know, on his $100,000 day, he's like, I want to give up. There's always going to be a time when you're going to want to give up, you know? So you got to get to those results, celebrate them, and don't lose that momentum, because I swear to God, you lose that momentum and you're not going to want to do anything. And that's what happened to me. I was like, screw it. I don't want to go through another 90-day run. I don't want to do it. You know, and I procrastinated for like a whole month. I wasn't building my business, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's the stuff that we do now, the attraction marketing, it's different to how everyone is taught in standard network marketing. And at the start, I mean, network marketing at the beginning is really slow, or can be really slow, and you wonder if you're ever going to get anywhere, but you just keep plugging away, or you need to keep plugging away. And attraction marketing is similar, because you got to keep doing the work. You got to keep putting the value out there. You got to keep dishing it out before you start to get a return. And everyone who's actually gets the return, they all say to you, just keep going. And I know Mark was one of the first people that said to me, he said, just keep going, because it's a matter of time. So just keep going. And that was really encouraging for me. And well, it's not quite a year ago. And so that really helped. But when you have this slow start, when you don't see any results to start with, and you just keep going, well, most people don't keep going. And that's why the average person quits after a few months. But if you do keep going, you do keep plugging away, then you get the results. And that's when you just need to keep that consistent, daily, repetitive. I hesitate to say boring, but at the beginning, it is a little bit tedious, but you just got to keep doing it, and then the results will come. And they gradually, and then I love, was it Valerie's analogy of popcorn, and they just suddenly just come, and then eventually pop, 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 and then it all starts popping. So you just got to start it.
When we were in Florida, that Nadia Melton taught us that. And what Simon's referring to is, or maybe it was Brian Crothers. I think it was Brian Crothers, but he was talking about how you can take a bag of popcorn, right? And and what I was going to say before that is that's when my business started changing, is when you marry the process and you divorce the outcome. And it was either Nadia Melton or it was Brian Crothers. I can't remember. Maybe I think it was Brian Crothers. But he was talking about, it was Brian. He was talking about how you can put a bag of popcorn, you know, in the microwave and put it for 20 seconds and open it back up, and there's still not going to be popcorn, right? And, you know, how many times can you do that every 20 seconds? Forever, right? And there's not going to be popcorn. But if you just marry the process and divorce the outcome, and you hit the popcorn button and you walk away, you know, pretty soon it's going, you know how popcorn pops? It's like pop, 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 you know, and that's what's going to happen. You got to feed your pipeline every day. You have to be talking to people. You have to be planting those seeds. You have to, you know, not, because I know for me, when I first got into network marketing, I mean, so many people are taught, you know, to go spam their links, go spam their pictures. They're given, you know, 30 photos. And that's what I did, is I went into the groups, you know, these top leaders, that's what they're telling me to do, and I'm doing it. And then I'm just sitting back, right? And I feel stupid saying this, but you know what? I have to say this in case somebody needs to hear this. But I went into the groups and I'm like, here, oh, I'm gonna make so much money. I'm gonna make a lot of money. Just 15 minutes a day, right? I'm gonna be a bazillionaire. And I'd be sitting there all day long looking at my emails for like commissions. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I started this whole thing until we found a better way to do things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I love that popcorn analogy. You just got to keep doing it, because we are professional friend makers, right? I'm going to tell you the biggest golden nuggets. We are professional friend makers, and we're professional tweakers. Not like tweakers like meth, but tweakers like, you know.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a drug. Did you ever see Breaking Bad? Methamphetamine tweakers, that's what they're called.
Oh, they're called tweakers.
Yeah. Everybody's laughing at me now. They're like, what the hell? But that's what we are. We test things. We're professional testers. That's what I should have said instead of tweakers. We're professional tweakers, man.
Yeah,
We're like,
it's a memorable tweakers, like syphilis and tweakers.
oh, that's hilarious.
But that goes back to this doing what excites you, because if you're doing what excites you, you're not worried about doing it every day. You don't even, it's not a concern, because you love what you're doing. You absolutely love what you're doing, and you're doing it as best as you can. And that's, and that's a good old English word. When you're in flow, that's when you're happy.
What is
now.
it? Whence?
Whence I came. Proper.
The other day when you let Julie starve, is me Julie on? Me Julie. When you let your wife starve the other day, I remember I texted you and I'm like, whilst
she didn't starve. She's okay. She won't know how to use the chat just yet, but she's learning. She was actually doing some mindset advice. She went out for lunch today for the second day in a row, and she was doing some mindset advice. She was doing about putting things in the back of your head and viewing them from a distance. She was doing proper Dr. Joe stuff on one of her friends. She's coming on, that girl. She's coming
good job,
on.
me Julie.
Yeah, she's coming on. So yeah, that was it. Do what excites you. Do it as best as you can, and don't have no expectations. And that's when you get the result. Okay, so we're coming towards the end, and there was just a couple of things that I wanted to say about, because a lot of what I've learned has been from Mark, and it's lovely to see him today. But a lot of the other stuff that I've learned has come from Diane Hockman, and I don't know, I didn't see the webinar last night. I've got to watch the YouTube version at some stage.
I know.
She's like the top affiliate in My Lead System Pro, but I wanted to let everybody know, because I've been in her secret club for marketers. I'm just gonna share my screen again and just show you some. Is Claire Barton on? Because
yep.
I've been learning a bit of Geordie language, but not very well, obviously, as you can see. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So Diane has had this secret club for marketers, which has just been, it's been only a couple of hundred people for the last few months, but it's soon to be, she's soon to open it to the public. And that's Diane there on that, in that picture on the right. That's the other one's me. But she's opening up the secret club for marketers to the public in the next, I think, probably few weeks. So if anybody would like to come along, ask me and I'll sort out an invitation for you. And she's also released her attraction marketing intensive course, and she does it every year. But it's as she was saying, it's an evergreen course. So it costs money. This course, you can buy it every year, but each year she adds bits to it or updates it. And in the next few weeks, she's going to be doing some more live sessions, so webinars, Q&As, that sort of stuff. And she often she does pop-up calls when she's going off for a drive in her, what is now her brand new Lexus. She'll do a call. So we'll just get on a conference call for an hour or so, and she can answer questions, and we discuss sort of marketing and stuff like that. So that's super cool. I've learned so much from her over the last few months that if anyone's interested, then let me know, hit me up, and I'll sort you out an invitation. Because
I want an invitation.
Right, you'll get one. And if anybody wants to have a look at that attraction marketing intensive course, then ask me. But it will be on a link. It'll be meetsimonpalmer.com/AMI, attraction marketing intensive. So it'd be AMI, meetsimonpalmer.com AMI. So that's a couple of things that people can do if they're interested. But I think getting with Diane is absolutely superb. And then that's part of the mission, apart from changing education and stuff that I mentioned at the beginning. The other part of my mission is to go on so many more events, because they are just amazing. And that's where the magic happens, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I'm like, I got some stuff going on in my personal life, but I'm trying so hard to get to GoPro. I'm just, in my head, I think that I need to go to an event because I mean, like that Ray Higdon thing popped up, and I even have his pin right now, the Prospecting and Recruiting
Hey.
Summit. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, that was like a month. That was literally a month to the day after Live the Dream, and it just kept. It's been keeping me going. So I feel, if you're on here, you do whatever it takes to get to events. Because I'm going to tell you, the last event that I went to, I flew down to Alabama, and then Valerie Salter and I were going to. We're going to drive down to Florida, which is a 9-hour car ride. And if you guys don't know, most of you guys are my friends that are on here right now, but they lost my luggage. They lost my luggage. Well, I got there and they said, okay, Dallas messed up, because I had a layover in Dallas, Texas, where I was like, hey, Simon, how's it going? I miss you. But yeah, so I went back to Texas already, Simon. And then, yeah, and they were like, oh, it's going to be on the first flight the next day. And the airport was an hour away in the wrong direction. So we went back there at 1 and they completely lost my luggage. And I'm like, okay, well, instead of getting angry, I just went and I bought all new clothes, and we got to the event. We got on the road as fast as we possibly could. And literally 2 hours before the event started, we had enough time, Simon, I know you know this, but we got enough time to sign in, right? Check into the hotel, meditate for 20 minutes, take a shower, put some clothes on, put some makeup on, and literally get back in the car to drive, like 10 minutes to the event. And we made it like with minutes to spare, literally minutes to spare before the event started. So do whatever the hell you have to do whatever the hell you have to do to get to an event. I'm just saying, because I did it.
Yeah.
Get there. You have to do whatever it takes, man. If you have to sell your car, I've done that too. I'm not going to tell you guys stuff that I haven't done. Do whatever it takes. If you have to sell your dining room table and sit crisscross applesauce eating your supper, right? Is that what you say, Simon?
No, we don't say that.
Supper?
Oh, we do say supper.
Yes.
We don't
crisscross applesauce is just like when you fold your whatever. Doesn't matter. Do whatever you have to do to get to events. Like, that is where the magic happens. You might meet your best friends, your best buddy over here at an event.
But yeah. they're awesome. Not to be missed. And I'm going to go. I want to go loads more. We're going to go to. I'm going to go. You're going to go. We're going to go to loads of them because
It's
they're
going to be epic.
awesome. We're going to talk.
Epic.
We're going to speak at them.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came, and Claire Barton up there in Geordie land. Get well soon. I know you've been poorly. Well done for doing your lives and stuff. That was cool. Kelly, Vanessa, thank you very much for coming. Mark, it was super cool to see you here. Thanks very much. Me Julie, well done. I'm just going to go back and show you one last little thing, because thank you everyone for coming, but also thank you, me Brittany.
Oh.
And I know you like these.
I
know
love
you
it.
like these pictures, but I managed to add another one to it. I don't know if you've seen these, Mark, but here's a good one. Look, you love this one in the middle. The only person sitting down. You're too overwhelmed. Don't use the O word, Simon. Don't use the O word. So thank you ever so much for helping me out. It's fantastic. I love this series we're doing.
That one in the bottom left corner is my all-time favorite of us at the piano bar. That's a good photo of us.
Yeah, that is a good photo. Even Julie said that was a good photo of us.
Why was I sitting down? Why I look like in that photo, I'm like, fuck you guys, I'm not doing it. That's what I look like.
Yeah. Maybe just a little bit hungover, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, those VIP parties, you can't, you have an open bar. Like, you literally have an open bar. Like, you don't tell me you're not going to drink some booze. I think it was just, I think it honestly, too, is just literally going in just the energy, man. At times, Simon and I actually spoke about this sometimes. And at one point, you even asked me, you're like, do you feel a bit wobbly? And I'm like, yes, I do. I've been feeling this energy, like, just, I've never felt this energy surge like this before. And so, to be honest, I probably was a little hungover. You were probably too.
Yeah.
But
I probably had enough of sitting down right then. That's all. I was just a sheep. I was just doing what everyone else did. I didn't want to put my head below everyone else. I just wanted to be the same as everyone else. I was facing the fear.
It's ingrained. It's ingrained in here, right?
40,000 years worth. You were ahead of the game, ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Yep. Because I zig. I zig when everybody else is standing up. Like, I look for ways that people are zigging. I'm zagging.
Yeah. And so for more tips, tricks, tips, tricks, and insider secrets, go to successwithbrittany.com. I'm going to get that right one day. I know you've only just started getting it right, but I'm going to go and get it right. So for tips,
I know, I keep tripping on it. And then I was going to say, make sure that you guys go to meetsimonpalmer.com. Are you going to start putting the replays up on there, or do you actually have like a link? Like, is it going to be like Meet Simon Palmer / Simon Says or something? What are you going to do with the replays?
The replays are all on my YouTube channel. So meetsimonpalmer.com/videos. But you're absolutely right. They need to go on my blog. So I'm gonna put them on there. But yeah, in the meantime, there's loads of videos right from when I started doing them last year, and so there's some quite funny ones. I watched a couple of them recently, and there was timid little me on there. It was quite funny. But yeah, thanks ever so much for everyone for coming, and yeah, please come again next week. Let's do this all over again, because this is fun. And
it's so much fun, and you always bring it. Like, I'm telling you guys, I am telling you that on a deep level, Simon and me joke all the time. We're best buds, but like, when it comes down to it, you know, I can tell Simon anything. Like I said, right now my life is a little personally messy, but it happens. And I've been able to go to him, and he always tells me exactly what I need to hear. Sometimes it's not what I want to hear, but it's not even like that. It's more of like, sometimes I expect you to tell me something and you go a different way, but it's something I needed to hear. So I guess it's not, you've never told me information that's uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to say it's not what I need, you know, it's just, you just always have the perfect thing to say. Like, I wish I wish, see, I'm just tripping up on my words because I don't know how to just say how grateful I am to you and how to really just press it upon people, like what an amazing mindset coach you are. Because I just wish sometimes you could just take the feelings and hear like the feel goods, right? The little warm and fuzzies, and throw it on people so they really understand. Because I can't explain it. It's like trying to explain Disneyland to somebody that hasn't been, right? You just have to go hang out with Simon, tell him your shit, and he'll figure you out and put a Band-Aid on it.
Because it's
and
that
help you with your
magical.
mindset. He'll help you with your mindset.
Yeah, I will. If anybody's interested, then we can always have a 20-minute chat and see how we can take it forward. Because I think the way forward for this is for me to help people out and to do more talks. And I'd like to do more talks, more live talks about this sort of stuff, and maybe do some individual coaching with people about this mindset stuff. So we can set that up.
Definitely, yeah. Let's start looking into that and like setting that up so that you can follow people and their progress and help them along the way instead of just, you know what I mean? Yeah, you definitely need to be doing more coaching.
We'll get that set up for next week. In the meantime, people hit me up, ask me, and yeah, of course we can have chats. And so thank you ever so much for coming, everybody. Thank you for the comments.
Bye, guys.
They're great. Britt, thank you very much for helping. And this free mindset webinar series for today, Thursday, the 13th of October, is a wrap.
Bye.